The third thing is some of you may have seen or heard of the Corona Committee did an interview with Andy and Stefan, and I don't know if it's posted yet, but it was very difficult to watch, I would say, for a number of reasons, and I don't want to get into it too much. But first of all, they were an hour late, which doesn't seem right to me. And the questions were really, I would say, almost disturbing. And what I'm referring to in particular is the questions from the doctor, not sure his name or how to pronounce it. But the first thing is when he says he's not familiar with laboratory virology, I would point out that there is no other virology but laboratory virology. What I mean by that is, in spite of him giving clinical evidence, he said, for the existence of viruses, I don't know how else to put this, but that's frankly nonsense. There is no personal clinical evidence for the existence of a virus. There may be personal experience for the transmissibility of an illness, maybe, but that still doesn't prove that there's this particle called a virus, which is the agent of transmission. And frankly, if you don't understand that by now, then I don't know what to say. And to use an example of, well, how do you explain that if you get bitten by a rabid dog, you get rabies? Doesn't that prove the existence of a rabies virus? That's like saying I threw the bucket of stones with a ping pong ball in it, except there is no ping pong ball, and it broke down the wall, and that proves ping pong balls break down the wall. If you haven't figured out the logical fallacy of that by now, I just really don't know what else to say. Because in order to prove that it's a virus, obviously, you first have to show there is a virus, a particle that you could call a virus in the saliva of a dog. Otherwise, how do you know it's a virus? And in fact, having looked exactly for that, show me a study showing this uniform morphology particle in the saliva of a rabid animal. There is no such study, period. And the doctor didn't know whether there's a study or not. He's apparently not interested in whether there is, or doesn't even know that one would even look. The evidence that the person got sick apparently is enough to say it's a virus. I don't even know what to say about that. So that was the main thing. And all this using epidemiological observations. Well, how do you explain people getting chickenpox? Or how do you explain people getting sick? I've been through that, I don't know how many times. It's what any non-professional knows by now, that in order to prove the existence of something, that you can't experience on your own, right? You can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't smell it. If we're talking about a particle, you have to find the particle, characterize it, separate it, show that that was the only possible agent. And if you're not willing to think like that, then you're not part of the conversation, period. And that's why that encounter was so frustrating, because the people who were supposedly asking the questions apparently don't understand how you would even prove the existence of the virus or that it causes disease of any virus in any situation. And that's enough of that. But you can tell that it's very frustrating for me, and I try to get over it.